Why do all-in Tesla stock investors like me and them think being all-in is actually safe? And what happens if you buy Tesla stock at those prices? We'll break it down why it's safe. And we'll start at 700 because let's face it, Tesla stock is very volatile, although safe. And it will probably drop down to $700.
So we know Tesla will deliver at least 10 million vehicles. That's a given already. Everyone knows that, basically. So how much profit will Tesla make when it will deliver 10 million vehicles? To find that out, we simply take profits from 2021, which is when Tesla delivered 1 million vehicles almost in one single year, and therefore the profits would be 10 times more of that year, right? Very simple. So we just take $4 billion of profit from that one single year and we multiply it by times 10 and we get $40 billion profit. And then we look at a PE multiple of, let's say, 40, which is conservative because Amazon right now has a PE ratio of 55. And this gives us a price target of $1,600 per share by 2030, which basically matches S&P 500 returns of the last 50 years. Keep in mind, this is conservative. And this excludes full self-driving. This excludes energy storage and solar panels and Dojo as a service and everything else. Now, let's be a little bit more wild and let's go with 20 million yearly deliveries, which is not really that wild. And in a moment, I'll tell you the most wild thing that's actually, this will blow your mind if you're not aware of that. So we take a look at that same PE of 40, and if we deliver 20 million vehicles, we get a price target of 3,200, which would give you a return of about 20%. Much more exciting, right? But this includes profits. Everything is based on profits from 2021. If you follow Tesla and you follow Tesla's financials, which if you are not a Tesla investor, you probably don't know this, but in the first quarter of this year, 2022, profits per each vehicle delivered basically doubled when you compare it to profits of 2021. So every single thing that you see here, every price target, you can double it. At least for the 10 million vehicles. For here, for 20 million vehicles, the average selling price, of course, is going to come down. But for 10 million vehicles, I think there's plenty demand for Model 3 and Model Y and slightly bigger vehicles than that. And there's going to be a Cybertruck and probably another truck. Tesla can make expensive vehicles and still deliver 10 million vehicles per year, I believe. There's so much demand. Demand is never an issue for Tesla. So take a look at this now. 800, which basically the stock does nothing, now becomes 1,600 if we apply margins from the first quarter of 2022. And 1,600 price target gives you return of S&P 500. And this is with a PE multiple of just 20. Now that is definitely realistic. You can't really argue with that. PE multiple of 20? And come on, so many companies that are more mature have a PE multiple of 20 when we look at this space that Tesla is in, when we consider technology-based companies. In the worst case, I think Tesla is going to be around 1,600 per share. Base case, like worst case possible, basically. So you could say this is optimistic, but is it? Is it really optimistic? To not include full self-driving, to not include energy storage, to not include solar panels and Dojo as a service, and Tesla bought Optimus Prime. But most importantly, full self-driving is excluded from all of these calculations, basically, what you see here. How is that too optimistic? Tell me. Tell me. How? You see, when I make my investments, I want to know what's the most likely worst case scenario. If I can do okay in a worst case scenario and there's huge potential upside at the same time, I'd love it. I don't even really need to know exactly how big is the upside, as long as I know it's massive, which in Tesla's case, clearly, it is ginormous when you take into consideration full self-driving. But even without full self-driving, the stock price makes complete sense to buy today. And imagine if a stock drops down even further. If the next really strong support level is around 420, I know that number is funny, but that's the truth. If it drops down that low, these returns will increase even more. So this worst case is gonna be crazy. It's gonna be nearing Warren Buffett's historical returns for his whole career. And that's basically the worst case. This is not even the base case. Oh boy. And I know some analysts, Wall Street, are gonna look at this and be like, nope, too risky. Nope, Tesla is not gonna do 10 million deliveries. Really? Oh, come on, just wake up already. Tesla is so far ahead of everyone. Tesla can sell Model Y, which is similar to Ford's Mach-E, at the same price that Mach-E is sold right now, which Mach-E is sold at a loss. And Tesla can make profits, significant profits. And guess what? Profits for Tesla are increasing. We haven't really even implemented the 4680 structural battery pack yet into the vehicles. That will increase margins even further. And Tesla is already clearly a leader. Now, who's number two? That's a whole different discussion. But number one, clearly it is Tesla. And I believe Tesla has a clear lead in full self-driving because of a full vision approach. And no one else is really pursuing vision approach. And you can look at the videos on my channel about full self-driving. I review other people's clips. And you see how much better it's getting just in the last 6 months. Maybe it's not coming this year. I don't think personally it's coming this year. But who knows? Maybe it will. Which is why I'm not selling any of my shares, even though I think there's a very good chance the stock could dip further, down to maybe even as low as 400. I don't think it would really go down below that level, but anything is possible. But the fundamentals, long term, is what actually ends up happening. And Tesla has such strong fundamentals based on what? Based on actual earnings, profit, money in the bank. Tesla has no debt. So this is like, when you consider this, a lot of other companies, like you look at the biggest automakers, they are raising so much debt. Billions of dollars, tens of billions of dollars, all while their margins are shrinking and their market share is taken away from their actual core business. Tesla does not have that problem. Tesla just has profits. And remember, also, and I haven't even mentioned this, all those numbers, 2021 profit numbers, we were also building factories, expanding. We need a moment of silence here. Like, so much, you got this, you're building factories and you're still profitable. So in the worst case, obviously, when you are not building new factories, obviously your margins are going to go up, right? And the new factories we're going to be building are going to be better, each one of them. So this gets me excited. Can you see how and why I'm excited? Because in the worst case, you still get S&P 500 returns, which is exactly why I sold my S&P 500. And S&P 500, when you look at the history of the last 100 plus years, S&P 500, if you held S&P 500 for any 20-year period, even the worst periods, you still made money. So, and I think Tesla is going to do much better than S&P 500. I think it's very clear at this point. At least to me. That's what I'm doing.
If you buy at $1,000 per share, worst case, basically, I really think it's right here. Realistic bad case scenario. And remember, we have to double those numbers if we go with recent profit margin. So this number right here becomes $4,000, which is 18% return per year, much higher than S&P 500. This is why I'm excited, even if you buy at 1,000. And if you buy at 2,000, we're still looking at this same place right here. You still get 9% return, which is S&P 500, basically a little lower. But realistically, I think really, most likely, Tesla stock will hit $10,000 per share before the splits, after the split $3,000. And that gives you over 20% returns. You're basically like Warren Buffett. His yearly returns average 20% per year. Now that is amazing, isn't it? If you're thinking you want to go all into Tesla stock, put all your money in it, you have to know 8 things that you have to really consider before going all in. And I cover those in this video. This is a must watch if you own only Tesla stock, or if you want to put a large portion of your portfolio, you have to watch this video. Thank you. My name is Matt Posius, and I'll see you in this video.